Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the 5 best add-ons for gold makers. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to be going over the 5 best add-ons for gold makers and or gold farmers in general for basically making gold in game, and there will be a couple of little edits towards this. I will not be including Trade Skill Master and also WorthIt. Trade Skill Master is pretty much a staple add-on, and I would just like to make that out right now. Everyone in gold making and gold farming know this add-on, so this is with the intention that you guys already have that add-on already set up. From that, WorthIt is obviously off of this list due to the fact that it is my add-on and I don't want to put any personal biases towards my add-on because I think it's awesome. So I will be leaving it off of this list just due to that fact. Aside from all of that, guys, let's just jump into our first one at number 1, which is WorthIt. Now, WorthIt is a great add-on for tracking farms when you're actually doing them. So that being said, when you actually get WorthIt, all you have to do is bring it up from the minimap button, and while you're actually doing a farm, it will tell you real time what your gold per hour is. You can also go into its settings and change a lot of things, such as what the price is valued on, what all of the stuff that you are actually going for. So if you wanted to not account for grey items, green items, blue items, white items, whatever, you can actually leave those off and only go for the specific items to account for your gold per hour. I find this add-on to be incredibly useful, and if you're a beginner, you probably are just finding out about WorthIt. Pretty much everyone and their mother use WorthIt for their gold farming, so I'd highly recommend having WorthIt, as it just is in general a helpful add-on to have. So that being said, let's move on to our next one at number 2, which is Roots. Now, Roots is a great add-on for pretty much every gold farmer, and that is because it produces a route that you have to follow in order to actually farm up different types of materials within the game. Now, that being said, what you can do with this is once you actually have routes, you can build up a route in order to follow on your mini-map or your main map. Doesn't really matter as long as you follow the route. That being said, you are also able to create routes with this. Also, if you have Gathermate and you've been doing that farm for a while, you'll see the nodes on the screen and you'll be able to make your own route with the /routes command to open up the main UI. All you have to do there is just press cluster and then build a foreground for that, and it will produce you with a route in order to actually do to best optimize yourself. So it will actually optimize your own existing route against what you've actually been farming, and that makes it a lot more easier to actually find a good happy medium on how to make gold and how to do it a bit more faster than you usually would if you weren't even using a route. So I'd highly recommend using this add-on. Aside from all of that, if you wanted to optimize it even more and or import or export add-ons, Callan, one of the WorthIt devs, has actually made an add-on called Routes Import/Export, which gives you the ability to import and export routes without WorthIt, and that means that you are also able to share your own routes and import others' routes towards each other. And that is a great concept because most gold farmers don't tend to usually share their routes and all that stuff, because it's just tricky to just make it up on a PNG and all that stuff. But now you can just import someone else's route within the game, and then you can just jump ahead and get started, or export your own routes and share them with others. Aside from all of that, let's move on to our next one at number 3, which is BUYEMALL. BUYEMALL is single-handedly the best crafters add-on ever. This gives you the ability to buy multiple stacks of things. Obviously, you're capped within game when it comes towards buying stuff, but if you have this add-on, it will let you buy multiples of those things. So instead of buying like a stack of 200 something and that's it, you can put in, I want to buy 2,000 of an item, and you can immediately buy it all in one session. So you don't have to keep going shift, click, 200, shift click 200, shift click 200. Just get BUYEMALL and you can just buy exactly what you need and it will buy it for you. It also even breaks up things. So if you want to buy light parchment as stacks of 5, they always come as stacks of 5, but you wanted to buy 73, you can type in 73 and you get 73. You get exactly what you put into it. providing you have enough gold for it, of course. But this is a very helpful way in order to streamline the crafting ability overall, especially if you're buying loads of ender mats at a time. It just makes more sense to actually go ahead and do this. Now, coming in at number 4, and at no surprise, is Gathermate 2 and Gathermate 2 Data. These are 2 separate add-ons, but they work in tandem together, so I've compiled them into one. And what that actually does, if you go into its interface, so if you go into interface, go under Gathermate 2, you can actually import every single node within the game. You are also able to change it and make it so only nodes show up, especially only if you're tracking it. So if you have your herbalism character, you can see all the nodes, but if you're on your warlock who's just an alchemist, you won't be able to see any of the nodes. This is really helpful, especially if I'm a farmer, because I'll get to see every single node in a specific zone. And this can work in tandem with routes to make an optimal route, to make sure that you're getting every node that you possibly can in order to maximize the amount of gold that you're actually doing. Failing that, it also has nodes for fishing, archaeology, herbalism, mining, as well as treasures. Now, I use this for the treasure chest farming, and I find that this is a great way in order to make a lot of gold. So it's quite nice to have that little uptick that I know where all the spawn points of the treasure chests are, so I don't have to second guess it, just fly past. If it's not up, I go to the next one. Alongside this, Gathermate 2 and Gathermate 2 Data has been around for quite a long time, and I'd highly recommend getting it if you're getting into gold farming, especially with Loot Appraiser. So those 2 add-ons are definitely the ones that you need to get for farming in general. Aside from all of that, let's jump into our last and final one at number 5, which is FASTERLOOT. Now, FASTERLOOT literally does what it says on the tin. It makes your looting a hell of a lot more faster. It basically speeds up the loot time and just cuts out the main frame window and just makes it so it's an instant loot and you just keep going. This is especially helpful when you're doing dungeon farming or raid farming, as you want to do that as fast as possible to maximize your time. Obviously, when you're looting, it does take a little bit of time to pick up the stuff, but with FASTERLOOT, it gets rid of that entire process and it just immediately loots the stuff and you can keep going, keep going, keep going. It's an amazing add-on, and I'd highly recommend it, especially if you're doing transmog farming, as it just streamlines the entire process of looting when you're actually doing this particular type of farm. Alongside this, it does work well with herbalism as well, so that does speed up your times as well as that, so you don't have to worry about looting all of that stuff. And especially if you're a druid, time is a factor, so you want to get as much gold as possible in the same amount of time. Other than that, guys, that is pretty much everything I have to say for the 5 best gold making add-ons at this moment in time. These are my personal picks. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.
If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.
Yeah.